All right, so listen, I just, please really enjoy this, okay? Because I always invite Anthony to come in to talk about entrepreneurship because I don't think entrepreneurship is the kind of thing. I think when you're reading a textbook or you're gathering secondary data about entrepreneurship, it's just a foundation. It's informational, but I really think you need to hear a practitioner. I think you need to hear about what motivates people and what about what is the mind of an entrepreneur, and that's why I invited Anthony. So Anthony, can I introduce you? You don't mind, do you?
Of course, it's my favorite part of this.
We're such good friends. So let me just share with you. This is just joyful for me when I know Anthony shows up. So this is Anthony Labasto, and Anthony is an alum. He's a friend of mine. He's an alum, but Anthony was in the first classes that I taught at Fordham in 1991. That's correct, right?
Yep.
And so how full circle this is that now I'm retiring after 30 years of being at Fordham, and Anthony was in one of my first classes that I ever taught at Fordham in the fall, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, in the fall of 1991. And so we've just stayed really close all over these years, and I've acted as a mentor to Anthony, and Anthony has been a confidant to me, and he's just really quite extraordinary. He's a graduate of the Gabelli School of Business. He graduated in 94. He also received his graduate degree, his MBA from Gabelli Schools of Business back in '07. He started the Entrepreneurship Society at Fordham. His background is tech. So he's an expert in tech and technology. But what's very interesting about Anthony, and I think that's what always has I've been gravitating to him over the years is because, and I've worked with Anthony on a project or two, but he's a true entrepreneur. I mean, he's created over 7 entrepreneurial ventures. And when they talk about the entrepreneurial mind, and I don't know whether Anthony's going to talk about this, but when they talk about the entrepreneurial mind, he really encompasses that entrepreneurial spirit. This kind of passion and never giving up and embracing failure and just, knowing and being hopeful and he's an entrepreneur. So it really is a pleasure for me to have him here to talk to you. Please, if you have questions, I urge you, and Anthony will give us his email at the end, and I'll post it up on Blackwood if you don't mind, Anthony,
Yep.
In case anybody, but anybody that was ever thinking about starting their own business. I've had my consulting business for about 30 years, and I never thought I would, but it just gave me freedom. It gave me freedom. So a freedom to create and freedom to do what it is that I really love to do besides this. So Anthony, can I turn it over to you? That was all in one breath.
Wow.
That was one breath. One breath. It's so easy when it comes to you because I think listen, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving back to Fordham. And thank you for someone in this class will be affected by what you say today.
Thank you.
I'm now muting myself, and I have you on, you can share your slides, and I'm muting myself, okay?
Yeah, so if you see anything come through the chat,
yeah,
I probably won't see it because I'm going to be displaying full screen.
Okay, so I will, and you can also, all right. I will
or people, people, you guys can just call out. You can say things too, and this is going to be a free-flowing discussion.
Okay.
Right?
He's saying that, but he has PowerPoint slides that are great.
I do. Just help.
All right, so maybe if you don't mind, Anthony, can we do this?
Yep.
Can we go through the presentation and then maybe we can open it up at the end?
Of course. How long do I have again?
Whenever. Okay. No, I just love that you're here.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So, Anthony, you're on. I'm muting myself, and you can let's share your slides first before I mute.
Excellent. All right. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, hold on.
And if you want me to post these slides on Blackboard, let me know, everybody.
Oh, hold on. I want to go to. There we go. Can you guys see it okay?
Yeah, I'm going to mute myself. I'm out of here. I mean, I'm not out of here, but I'm out of here.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the intro. And it is really a pleasure, and I'm very grateful to be here. I love Fordham. I sat in your seat years ago, twice, right? So I went to Fordham twice, and I'm going to talk today about being an entrepreneur and really what that means. And it's not just the persona of being an entrepreneur; it's the persona of being because this really transcends into your personal life, other aspects of your life too. But for this discussion tonight, I'm going to talk about failure and how to overcome that and being an entrepreneur. So I call this lecture, and I love this. I love this because it's called The Opportunity to Fail on My Entrepreneurial Journey. And it's based on the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And if has anyone ever read that book at all? Well, that book is all about, it's all about seizing opportunities to be extremely successful. And when you have opportunities in life, and when you actually have the opportunity to fail, it really can yield many things because I can't fail like I did back then. So I'm going to go into who I am, overcoming failure, creating opportunities, and just some personal branding as well, and what that looks like, and how that all kind of comes full circle. And then a Q&A. But as I go through this, feel free to ask questions, and anything comes to mind, please. So, as Dr. D said, I went to Fordham twice, got my marketing degree in 94, had Dr. D twice actually, marketing principles and advertising. And then I went back to Fordham and graduated in '06 and was a management and marketing major. And I've been in IT for 25 years. I was a VP of sales and marketing for a small technology company. And I'm a blogger, and I'm also an entrepreneur. So I went to Chaminade High School. I think for some people, I understand that many of you are maybe not in the U.S., right? Is that true? You've got a bunch of people from Asia. I don't know if you have anyone from Europe, but for the people that are in New York, in that area, maybe the high school, Chaminade. But as Dr. Z said, I started with my fellow students, my fellow friends, the Entrepreneur Society in '04. So I worked at these companies as well. So I don't know. Let me minimize this. So I worked for these companies, and over the years, they're all technology companies. So I'm sure the one in the middle probably is familiar to many of you, but does anything else jump out at all? Anything look familiar? Understandably so. But so these are my blogs. So I run 4 blogs right now, and I'll show you guys those blogs at some point too. But I work for a company called Nextiva, and my day job, which is really my passion, is cloud communications. So Nextiva is a business communications company. I don't know if you guys have heard the term VoIP, but cloud communications is essentially, let's say, making calls in the cloud, voice over IP, video like you see right now with Zoom, things like that, all in one platform called Unified Communications. So at Nextiva, I am a channel manager, which means that I sell Nextiva services through our partner community. And I don't sell directly to end users per se, but I enable my partners that will make a lot of money from selling Nextiva and helping them and enable them by presenting Nextiva, by doing demonstrations of the platform, helping them, with pricing, things like that, everything through the entire sales process, and really supporting them as well with anything that comes up. And that truly is a passion of mine, to not only work with companies like I did for a bunch of years, where I was a VP of sales and marketing for a technology company that I now technology companies I support, but we've done very well at Nextiva in the small and medium-sized market. In fact, Nextiva, we're based in Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, I'm sorry, and we have $200 million in revenue, right? So we've grown significantly over the years, small and medium-sized businesses, but we are doing business. We are powering the Pac-12, which is really amazing when you think about it. Because we're in Scottsdale, Arizona, we have a much bigger presence, meaning a brand out west. So we have aligned ourselves with organizations like the Pac-12. So we do all the cloud communications with them. Any questions at all? So in 2007, I had an idea of launching a business. So then I said goodbye to my day job and had a great day job working for a very large telecommunications company. I had this idea, I had a vision of bringing neighborhoods online. I don't know if anyone's heard of the service, the platform called Nextdoor. Has anyone heard of that at all?
I have.
Cool. Yeah, so that's exactly what I was doing in '07. So I started a company called NeighborBee, and NeighborBee was bringing neighborhoods online, encouraging neighbors to have conversations and connect in neighborhoods by zip codes, and the platform was built to do just that. And really, I thought I was going to hit it very big. In fact, Nextdoor is now worth $3.2 billion. That's what they're valued at. So I really thought I was going to hit it big. That was not the reason why I got into it, but I really thought I was. But I didn't. Instead, I crashed and burned. And that was hard. That was very hard to really do that. And that was about probably 2010. That's when I really came to the true realization. Actually, maybe 2011 or so. That's when I came to the realization that NeighborBee was not going to happen in that form. So it took me a while, but the people, any athletes, any people that really achieve true success, you have to look at it like something didn't work, right? So when you look at Thomas Edison, he said he never failed, right? He was an inventor. He just found 10,000 ways that didn't work. So really, when I finally accepted my failure and accepted the fact that that happened, that's the mindset that I always have right now. Anything that doesn't work, you have to then just say, you know what? If I failed at something, it didn't work. Try something else. And that's the real idea. So a loss isn't a failure until you make an excuse. And excuses are the nails that are used to build a house of failure. And I know speaking about this, I don't know how meaningful that is to you guys, but it's really true because when you make excuses for failing at something, you can rationalize things, and I get it, I understand it. I've done that many times, But really what it comes down to is that it's on you. You have to figure out ways to, perceive and get through that. Any questions about that? So when you fail, I always say fail forward, right? You don't want to fail backwards. You want to fail forward. And you want to fail up, right? So, you always want to, that means, well, actually, let me ask you guys, what does that mean to you? What does failing forward and failing up mean to you guys?
Like learn from your mistakes, so you're not really like losing in a way.
Yeah, exactly. So, you're gaining a lot of experience from failing of what doesn't work. And also when you fail, you can come to the realization that maybe what you were doing wasn't what you really you uncovered. You thought you loved doing it, but then you decided that it wasn't something you loved. And that's maybe one of the reasons why you failed. So I have a video that I love to share with you guys. It's called Famous Failures, and I don't know if anyone has seen this, but it's a really good video about failure from people that you may recognize.
After being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. He wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old, and his teachers said he would never amount to much. Was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. Fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. At age 11, he was cut from his team after being diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency, which made him smaller in stature than most kids his age. At 30 years old, he was left devastated and depressed after being unceremoniously removed from the company he started. A high school dropout whose personal struggles with drugs and poverty culminated in an unsuccessful suicide attempt. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and that he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Rejected by Decca recording studios, who said, "We don't like their sound. They have no future in show business." His first book was rejected by 27 publishers. His fiancée died, failed in business, had a nervous breakdown, and was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never tried anything new.
I love that video. It is very powerful. What did you guys think of that?
I think it's really amazing to see all these famous figures that so many people look up to. And you see that it wasn't just perfect from the beginning, that they struggled, they failed, and they got to where they are through a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is, that kind of brings me to my next slide because, success, I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but, success is an iceberg. People only see what's really up there. They see the top of the iceberg. But, what really happens is that you have a lot of sleepless nights. You take a lot of risks. You make a lot of mistakes. And you take massive action. I don't know if you guys have heard that term, but, that's something that is very important to success. And, you have to sacrifice and you have to get into good habits. And really what it comes down to is just hard work overall. Does that make sense to you guys? I'll take that as a yes. So again, like when you experience, or when I experience failure, I didn't go bankrupt, but I definitely put a lot of my own money into the venture. Then I got married, and honestly, I didn't even. And then we had kids right away, and I really carried a big burden of debt and everything. But I knew I was doing the right thing. So you don't really know at that point, like when you're failing, especially when you fail very hard for the first time. There are a lot of opportunities, believe it or not, right? Because, when they say one door closes, another opens. And, you kind of hate hearing that when you're going through something like that. But I kind of look at it like, when you're failing, when things are blowing up, a window is opening. And you just have to be able to stand back and take a deep breath. And as Dr. D has always told me too, pause. And just pause with, everything. And just try and take a step back and take some stock in everything. And then maybe you'll be, not maybe, but you will be led to other opportunities. Does that make sense? So for me, Neighborly, believe it or not, is still active, is still alive. And, it really came back to life during COVID last year, right? Because when I started Neighborly initially back in 2007, in fact, Neighborly started way back before that. The idea started after 9/11. I saw how I was living downtown after New York, after the World Trade Center attacks, and really how small businesses were suffering. And I felt the same exact way after COVID hit, because I saw small businesses, just fail. It was very hard. It still is for a lot of them, especially here in New York. And I can only imagine how it is, in other countries around the world too. And I'm sure everyone feels this in some respect. But, at least for me personally, I'm not a person to sit back and say, you know what, I'm just going to let it happen. Even though I'm doing, a small part, I wanted to get the word out for whomever wanted to have, let's say, Zoom interviews, right? So interviews that were, similar to this, right? On Zoom, speaking to people about their business, speaking about them in terms of, what motivated them. And then I started to really, I wrote about them a little bit too, but I really felt the videos were more impactful. And I really enjoyed them, and I still do. And these are some of them. So it's really amazing how things kind of lead to, certain things. And when the opportunity hit, like when that opportunity hit, well, I wouldn't say COVID was an opportunity, but when that opportunity at least hit to, really, when I really felt that burning desire to help small businesses, help my neighbors and everyone, the platform was built. I already knew how to do it. I knew how to do videos. I knew certain things. And a lot of that, believe it or not, that comes from failing. That comes from mistakes that you've made that you just accumulated. And then all of a sudden it became second nature. So, that's one example. Another is oh, sorry about that. So another blog that I also run is Lobo Social, right? So this is a blog that I actively write on about sales. I've been in sales for 25 plus years. So I write about it, especially branding, personal branding. Really enjoy that a lot. My last name is Labasco. So you see that, I branded myself as Lobo from Lobo Social and IT. So Lobo IT. And, this is interesting because this blog has been around for 5 years or so. And I really didn't do much with it, right? I wrote in it. It really took on a lot of different forms. But then once I started with Nextiva, and after I had been working in a head of marketing and sales for a small technology company, and one of my ventures actually that is I haven't failed yet on it, but one of the ventures that I really felt was creating exposure for small IT companies. And I all of a sudden one day I just kind of turned around and said, you know what? I can do this on my blog that I already have. I don't have to create the wheel again. So I was able to do that, and I have this. Oh, hold on one sec. I didn't want to get to that per se, but hold on. See, that's my blog. Blog again. All right, so this is my.
There are a lot of great partners that are out there to help with cloud communication solutions. Whether your business has one person or tens of thousands of people, there is a right partner that's out there for you. And I want to help spread the word. I want to help you to get to know partners that you may not know exist, because it's good for everyone. It's good for end users, good for the businesses, it's good for the technology partners and the vendors as well. So let me help you connect the dots and find the right partner for your business. Take care and be well. There are a lot of great technology partners.
So, what's really amazing about this is, it came from a good place, right? So when you are doing something that you love or you have that feeling, I know when that feeling overcomes me, I am able then to, I created a foundation of, marketing, technology, and, helping small businesses and doing it in a, blog or social media format. And, in some cases, I'm not saying sat dormant, but over the years, I've been developing that. So I encourage you guys to do the same. So when you have ideas and when something feels right that may not be worked out, it's going to work out. It's going to come together at some point, because when you follow your passions, you can't go wrong. And that's going to turn into something at some point. So who knows what this is going to, where this is going to go, but I always wanted to create do a podcast at some point. So I don't really know if that's going to be IT, if that's going to be social marketing, if that's going to be about small businesses. Maybe it's going to be about everything. Maybe it'll be about entrepreneurship. But overall, I just love this. I just love talking about it. And I love, it's just a passion. So, and that all bubbles up into personal branding, right? So, as you all saw, my blogs and everything were, based on my last name. I created a brand around Lobo Social, Lobo IT, and on the bottom right side is the Practical Innovator, which is another blog of mine that I blog about that was inspired by lecturing at Fordham and being a guest lecturer about entrepreneurship, things like that. So it's just amazing. But when your personal brand is your most valuable asset, and that's something that's always going to follow you around. So it's what you stand for. You're a brand, and you are the CEO of yourself. So I encourage all you guys as well. You're young, you're young adults, and obviously social media, things like that. It's gonna follow you around forever and throughout your life. So just be careful of what you post, be careful of what you do, and things like that, because you're a brand, and that is all bubbles up into your brand. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about personal branding at all? So really, this is a much bigger conversation, and I'm not really going to get into it too much, and I've lectured about integrated marketing, but this is one slide that I really like, because it really encompasses a lot of what I do in terms of videos, in terms of even social amplification on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or wherever it is, right? That's really where that's called integrated marketing communications, right? You've got it on your computer, on your phone, and so on and so forth. And it really all is about announcing to the world and getting people's attention. So here are a couple of final thoughts that I have. Just be you, right? Because it really comes down to being yourself and being authentic. And no one ever made a difference by being like everyone else. So, I've had a lot of people, even still to this day, that look and say, you know what? Maybe you're a little bit off, Anthony, or maybe I don't think that way, and you think more out of the box than I do. But that's just me being me, and no one really made a difference by being like everyone else. And I think being like everyone else is, I don't think it doesn't feel good. Believe in yourself. So, with that said, believe in what you're doing. Believe in everything. Believe in yourself, because you are the only one that knows what motivates you. You're the only one that knows what you're capable of. Be inspired and dream big. Have the guts to fail, but then have the courage to try again. And that, to me, was one of the most important lessons that I've learned over the years from failing. Because when you fail for one of the first times, that really is meaningful to you. It's hard to really try again and think that you can really get back on that horse, but you can. And really, while you're doing this, it's so important to have a mentor. And you can't just really find anyone and point them out to be a mentor. but it's a relationship that you develop with someone that believes in you, that sees things in you that maybe you don't see about yourself, and really helps to guide you. So my mentor is Dr. D. And
how long ago was that, Anthony?
man, I think that was taken in 2008. Maybe. You look exactly the same.
My hair is lighter. It's the sun. It's Florida.
Yeah, it is. You're right. But
Wow,
you look.
2007?
What's that?
That's 2007?
2007, 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's at Fordham, and that's Neighborby. That's one of the. That's my old blog. It's a great picture. So, when you're going through everything as well, it's going to be foggy. You're not going to be able to know where you're going, what you're doing. The future is not going to seem. It's not going to feel certain. But you know what? You can never give up, because you have to believe in yourself. And you can't let failure overcome you and stand in your way, because you have to get back up, and you cannot give up, and you have to be able to really persevere. And every day, just make it your masterpiece. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Please,
You're welcome.
if anyone has any questions, do you want to unshare this, and then we could see everybody? You could see everybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I can see everybody, as my students know. As you know, some of you know I can see you. Please, anybody have any questions? Anything about who's interested in starting their own businesses? Anyway, just a show of hands. Linda, Chris, Jay, who else? Nick.
Lauren, I saw that you had your hand up. What are you interested in? What's your interest?
Well, and I don't have like anything planned out at this point, but I was thinking about a bakery or something.
Great. Are you a baker?
Yeah, I really like to bake.
Baking is not easy. My wife is a baker, and I was talking about this with someone recently, that you as a baker, you are following recipes so much. You live and die by recipes, right? And there's a scientific way about it. You can scoop an ounce of something, and if you can't do a pinch, you have to do a tablespoon, or whatever it is. But why do you love baking so much?
I don't know. It makes me happy. It calms me down, even though it's very stressful at times. And I love the end result. I love the smiles on people's faces when they see whatever I've made, and hopefully it's good.
So Lauren, I'm retiring, but please, my Fordham email is still going to work.
Okay.
So whoever, and this is open to the whole class, pro bono. Please, whoever's interested, please contact me, and I will help you. All right, whatever it is.
So Lauren, let me add, and everyone, please take advantage of that. That is not something that is that should be overlooked. That's a very valuable thing, and really is. Anyway, Lauren, for you, have you baked for people before?
Not so much professionally, like I get paid for it. Just I bake a lot of stuff for families over the holidays. I like to do theme stuff, and then I give them to my family members. That kind of thing. So
you see what you did right there. You see what you're doing. You're kind of proving something out. So when you start any business, or you have a product, you are building a prototype, and you're basically getting feedback from people, what works, what doesn't work, and you're indirectly doing that from your family, from your friends. I would encourage you to, my wife was doing that, and she was doing just exactly what you were doing for family, friends. People kept saying, "Oh, you need to do this professionally." Now we have two daughters that are 10 and 8, so it's different. We're in different places. It's not easy to, just start a business like that. But you know, she started doing some baking for people's parties, and people were hiring her to do some stuff. But she realized it was just too hard for her to do that. But I would say for you, and that's part of the process, to see if you like doing it on that. Like, it's great to do it with people and as a hobby, but hey, maybe is it okay to do it if I actually have a lot of people? If I have like an actual real event to do, even if it's a small party, and even getting paid for it, which you probably don't even know what people would give you for that, at what you would ask for. But
Yeah.
I would encourage you to at least get like, a percentage over what you're paying for all the all the ingredients, and think about what your time is worth too. And I don't know, just ask people what they think, but try and do that first, and then see where it goes.
Yeah, I definitely will. Thank you, because I know I've thought about that. I recently, when was it? Thanksgiving, I made all these cookies that were pilgrims and turkeys,
Oh my
and
gosh.
they took a long time. And my aunt was joking, telling me, "Oh, I'll pay you $2.50 for this cookie," and it was just a joke. But you're right, because it takes a long time, the ingredients and everything. So I definitely thought about that road. Yeah.
But you
So
know
can
what?
I,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to make a comment. So you see what's happening here? This is what's happening here. And that's what happened when I started my business and when Anthony starts his business. It's usually something that you have a genuine interest. There could be an expertise in the area, and something just happens. When I started my first consulting business, do you know how it started? Someone came to me and said, "We'd like to hire you." Did you know this, Anthony? "We'd like to hire you, Janet, to conduct marketing strategy." And I said, and it was MCI. It was MCI, Anthony.
Okay.
And it was a contact I had. And the guy said to me, I said, well, he goes, "Well, your background and, and they knew me. They knew they could trust me." And he said to me, "But we can't hire you unless you have a business." And I went, "Oh." So I said, "Okay." So Anthony, that's when I started the LLC, because someone came to me and said, and then that was the first time. And then it was okay. The business was okay. The second time around, it was very successful. It was successful, and then I gave it up because my dad was sick. And then the third time around, this time it was completely a success. And it really began, Anthony, with that one person saying to me
Wow.
from MCI back in the night. It was had to be in the early '90s, right? Or late '80s.
Yeah.
When was MCI around? And that's how it began. So what's the moral of the story? No matter who's sitting in this classroom, if you really have this kind of gut feeling, go with your intuition, because it's talking to you. It's talking to you. And really, I didn't start it with a lot of money. Did you start your businesses with a lot of money initially? Not really.
Mine?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I did, unfortunately. But now I don't. But yes, I did.
you
But
did.
Lauren, I want to say one other thing, right? So with baking and things like that, making cookies, that that really shows very well on Instagram, social media, taking pictures. So you can really get the word out by taking some really cool pictures of what you have created, and then kind of getting the word out that way. So that's also another thing.
So
Any
thank you,
anyone else?
Lauren. Anybody else? But you know what? I think they should contact you personally, Anthony.
Absolutely. I am here all the time.
And one other thing, I love that you talk about failure. I think that's not just an entrepreneurial lesson, boys and girls. I think that that's a life lesson. The when we fail, most of us will go, "Oh no, I can't believe that happened." My work. No, when you fail, you go, "Okay, I know this really sucks, but I'm supposed to learn something from this." Don't you agree, Anthony? I'm supposed to learn something.
Well,
From
so I will say that Dr. D and I, she was helping with neighborly as well. So she knew how, passionate, how hard I worked, the sacrifices I made, and when I failed on it, how it affected me. So after I did, you encouraged me to come back to Fordham and really talk about failure. And that was hard at first to do, but over the years, it really helped me to look into everything and really understand and kind of analyze, and maybe not even analyze and just really, put things behind you. And it's so simple to get over it and just move on because there are other opportunities that do open up. And that's really what I want to convey to you guys is keep trying and keep doing things. And if Lauren, you do something and you realize that it's not working out, do something else because the passion and the fire and there are going to be things that you're always interested in that you're still good at, and that goes for everyone.
And Anthony, one other thing about entrepreneurship, having my own business, and you have your own business. I put your ego away. This is not about you. This is about running a business. This is about satisfying a need. Maybe it's making a difference in society as a whole. Whatever it is, whatever it is. But put your ego away because when your ego gets in the way, it's then you say to yourself, "Oh no, look, this is because of me. I did that." No, it's because it could have been any reason. It could, Anthony, and the reason of neighbor B, it was the circumstances. It was 2008. There was economic downturn. Things were really kind of shifting. I mean, there was a lot of environmental factors that were involved. Remember we were trying to get the beta up running. We were trying to get,
Yep.
I mean, a lot of tech stuff that was happening. It really wasn't about our egos, really, Anthony. It was
No.
about circumstantial stuff.
And
Yeah.
to that end, right? I mean, people are successful at things under very tough obstacles, very very difficult things. That's when experience comes in. That's when practice comes in, and that's really when failure comes in too. And failure means that you are learning something. You've done something wrong, so you now know how to do it better. Or if you don't know how, you'll figure it out. And really having that mindset is something that is developed too. So give. Sometimes it's just not time, and but it will. And when it is, it's going to be glorious.
And that's a life lesson. That's not just
Yeah.
That's a life lesson. Really hear what we're saying here. This is a life lesson. If you fail, whatever it is, you succeed. This is a life lesson. You go, okay, you know what? That didn't feel too great. But you know what? Let me figure out what I'm supposed to learn from this. I do that my whole life. I mean, I didn't do that my whole life. It's just I've learned to do that, and so that comes with maturation, and that comes with failure and success, right? And success.
What have you always said to me? Everything always works out. Everything always works out, regardless.
I told you what would I tell my younger self? I might have told this to the class. My younger self, I'll be 66. My younger self, I would say, Janet, it really does work out. Maybe not how you thought, but it really does. It's really going to be okay, And I can say that now, looking back, and I go, wow, it really did all work out. Maybe not what I thought, and what I planned, but you know what? Look at me. I'm okay. I did well. I did, I have, family that love me and friends that love me, and I love people, and I have whatever I have, and it's not only material. So anyway, Anthony, any other questions before we let Anthony go? Anything? Anthony, please, can the students reach out to you? Cole, I can't see you.
Please do. Absolutely.
Can you please, I know in this class there's somebody or somebodies that, is that a word? That would really love to reach out to you when the time is perfect. And I meant that for the rest of you. Please, my last technical day is like August 31st, but really it's when this class is over. But please reach out to me. Ask me questions. I will really help you. I'm not giving you any money, but I will help you. I'm not writing a check. I had a kid come to me once. He goes, "Would you like to invest?" No, there's something, I don't know, there's an ethical issue here. Okay, anybody else? Anthony, I can't thank you enough. I can't, I always say about your presentations, you don't have to remember all of it, but I hope everyone in this class at least takes one thing from the presentation, if it's about failure or if it's about never giving up or whatever. So Anthony, thank you so much. Love you. And sushi next week.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone. Be well.
Bye-bye. Everybody just stay put.